Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome back to Hall of Fame College Football with Jason and the coach. I'm your host, Jason Watkins. He's the coach, Philip Roybal. And if you love college football, you know you're in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame college football. Coach Roybal, welcome back to the show. Good to see you.
Good to be back again, man. It's been a while.
Hey, man, it has been a little bit. There's been a lot of shit going on, though.
It has.
Has been, I mean, college football has definitely, well, for the Sooner fan, that is me, it's been kind of a rough few weeks. But, we're enjoying watching. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I think that the jockeying for position in this 12-team playoff has been certainly a lot of drama involved in it. A lot of teams that are popping up out of nowhere to kind of get themselves into position. What have you been thinking about it?
Well, I have to tell you, it's really been interesting, and you look at the top 20, and there's teams there that haven't been in the top or top 10 in years and years.
Yeah.
So it's really been interesting to see how that's playing out. And obviously teams are jockeying back and forth. I know we talked off the air a little bit about Colorado and Texas A&M and among others that are really making a run. So it's fun and exciting. And what's really exciting to me, Jason, is it's going to be interesting to see how all this unfolds, because this is the first time of that 12-team format, and to see how all that starts rolling out. And I think the first iteration of this comes out on Wednesday, the 5th.
Is it this week?
The 5th.
I think it is. I think it may be next week. Yeah, I think it may be
next week on the 5th.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be interesting to see what that looks like.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think, obviously with the polls, I mean, we have our poll that we'll be releasing here, at least the finalists, or we'll give you our top 25 here throughout the show. And then we'll also, I'll be popping it up on Twitter and everywhere tomorrow. That way, once I get the graphic done. It's been kind of a crazy day. But hey, before we go any further, I did want to do this. A good friend of the show, one of the guys that he's really taken our Discord and taken it to another level. He's been a good friend of mine, and I appreciate him a lot. Stephen G, going through some stuff. His mom has told him that she has cancer, and I just wanted to have everybody, stop and give a prayer for Stephen G and his mom and for their family, and just kind of keep them in your thoughts here over the next, the coming weeks and stuff like that, because they're going through tough time, and just want to let Stephen G know we love him, and
absolutely.
Yeah.
And we'll keep him in our prayers. And I've been through that scenario with my mom having cancer, and that's a tough time of your life. So Stephen G, we're praying for you and your family.
Facts. Absolutely. And I think everybody's kind of had somebody in their life that's gone through this, and at some point. But when it's your mom, it's a little different, man. It's a little different. And I just want to make sure that we all keep him in our prayers. And we love you, Stephen G. We'll definitely take care of. Be praying for you guys all the way through. All right. Welcome into the show, everybody. Drewski, Jimmy Satterfield, Kimberly K, Sooner Legend Podcast, David Chamberlain, Steve Rollo, Comanche Sooner. Adela is back at the house.
What? Yeah. Ooh, Adela. Adela, I was just asking about you not long ago. So what the hell happened to Adela?
I told her about that. David Chamberlain. Let's see who else we got in here. We want to make sure we get everybody that came in so far. Again, Stephen G popped in here for just a second. He said he's not going to stay in for very long. He's spending some time with his mom, so we understand that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's I think that's all of them for now. Nope. Sooner Freak 29. There we go. Glad to see everybody in here. Thank you for showing up. If you're not already a subscriber to Hall of Fame College Football, You should become one. We did hit 4,000 again. Because this first time you've been on since then, 4,000 subscribers. This is big for us. We much appreciate that. So, continue to share the streams with your friends. Anybody who loves college football, they're going to get entertainment here. It's kind of raw sometimes, but it is entertainment. So great everybody for that. Okay.
Sooner Legends.
Sooner Legend Podcast.
My mom, my aunt, and my little fur baby who passed away Saturday.
He's talking about that they had went through it with cancer, I guess. Because I know for sure his dog, that was what he was talking about there. And his mom had been gone for a little while though, I think.
Okay. Yeah, that's tough, man.
Tough times, man. Tough times. All right. Now, here we go. Let's see. Yeah. Adela says, Coach, she missed you.
Missed you too, Adela.
Life's been crazy, but she's back. Figured that, hey, we been talking to her a little bit. She's been on a few of the last few shows.
Great.
Excited to have everybody back in here as Coach and we kind of went back and forth with each other through text messaging and all that kind of stuff the last few weeks.
Sure we
did. But
like we always do. We'll go a few months and then we'll fall off into a little cliff and then we climb back out of the cliff.
Brothers fight, man. This is kind of how things are. Brothers fight sometimes,
Still love him, though.
Absolutely. But, obviously kind of looking at it from the outside, looking at not being OU fan per se, I know you follow it and cover it, and, being a part of this show, you know as much about OU as anybody. So tell me what your feelings are of what you're seeing at Oklahoma. I mean, obviously you get rid of the offensive coordinator. We talked about that on the last time you were with us, that it probably was something that we felt like I felt like should have definitely happened.
Right.
They've since gone back to Jackson Arnold. It's kind of a sketchy situation on that one, but I think it's to the point now. And guys, I've been trying to figure out how to release this column to where it works right on the internet on my website. But I do have that done, and I'll definitely put it in Discord in the form that I have it. But it almost feels like a lot of the Oklahoma fan base has given up on Brent Venables, which I'm not among those folks that have. I think that he's the right guy.
Good.
I do think that there's some things that you have to do if you're Coach V, and this is definitely where I wanted to talk to you about that maturation into being a head coach, where you've said it a bunch of times before, is that it's a learning curve. But I feel like there's some things that he's not doing that we were seeing in the first year, and that concerns me. Talk about because to me, I think it took him too long to let Seth go, and I think it seems like there's times that he's a bit hesitant, to say the least, about making certain moves.
Right. Well, and again, guys, I've got to tell you, from a coaching background and a head coaching background, it's very difficult to be the man in charge. And I tell you what, to be a coach of the Oklahoma Sooners, that is very difficult, okay? Because that's, as we all know, OU is a prestigious program, a proud program, crazy fan base. But honestly, he's learning on the job. Mm-hmm. And that's the chance that the OU administration took. I still think he's the right guy for the job. I probably, and a lot of you will disagree with me on this, and this is one of the things that Jason and I disagree on. I don't think you make that move in the middle of the season. But again, right, wrong, or indifferent, it was made, and you move forward from this point on. But I do believe that the next hire that he makes has definitely got to be the right one.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't, and let's face it, guys, he's on the hot seat.
Yeah.
And
you don't get as much time
and
as you used to in college football. Let's just not be
no,
crazy about this. I mean, the
no,
truth is, 3 years time is 3 years time, and when you take a step backwards, whether you think that's fair or not, and I would tell you that taking a step back in your first year in the SEC is extenuating. But I also can understand where a lot of people are coming from, saying, "Look, we don't have time to get too far behind here." You know, being in the SEC,
and I get that too. Yeah,
I understand that part. But I also think that you have to take into consideration what we're looking at. The reason that I think that a lot of people were upset is that, first off, you could see that something was up. And I know that, you said you understood not doing it in the middle of a season. It's one of those things. At the very least, maybe I think we agreed that you could at least rearrange who was doing what. Right. But from what we're finding out now, and we're finding out some things that have been going on, and there wasn't a lot of communication going on between supposedly them being co-offensive coordinators, but that wasn't the case. Seth Luttrell was in charge of the whole thing. He was telling everybody who had to play at every position. And on top of that, I think it was clear that there was no clear understanding of what the hell was going on. They weren't communicating back and forth with each other. We've heard things such as coaches that were arguing about simple shit like, what's the blocking scheme for this weekend? If that's not something that is being communicated, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And if we're hearing it outside from here,
it's
Coach
multiplied inside.
Yeah, Coach B knows about it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where a lot of people are like, hey, look, we know damn good and well that you know what's happening. Figure it out.
Yeah.
Well,
and I like Coach Venables.
Yeah, I love Coach V.
And I'm a huge fan, but at the end of the day, he's going to have to again make some great decisions here moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
I think that when we look at the flip side of this, look what he has done recruiting wise, guys, to bring in a defense that's one of the best in the country. Obviously, that's his wheelhouse. And now he needs to bring in an OC that is, maybe even a former head coach, possibly. That
you damn sure need somebody that can run the show, because he's clear that he doesn't want to have to put his hands in it. I think that that's obvious.
Well, I don't think he feels comfortable with it.
Right.
At all. I mean, I think, like you said, that's pretty obvious. So he's got to bring in the right person for the job, because if he doesn't, it will cost him his job. And I hate that.
There's no two ways around it. There's no two ways around it. And you're trending towards a losing season or maybe at best 6-6. Which, they get you in bowl contention or whatever. Maybe you win it, maybe you don't. Nobody really cares. The big thing about getting a bowl is getting the practice, right? Getting that practice time or whatever. But
yeah.
And if you're making a new hire there at coordinator, then that's probably a good thing for you as well.
Seven, I don't think we're missing any point. I think that, he knew 3 years ago he was going into the SEC, but he was also learning to be a head coach. I already mentioned it earlier. It's not easy to become a head coach.
Mississippi State fan comes in here talking about the wrong guy, right guy, whatever the hell you.
Yeah,
brother.
So
you guys just hired a new coach, and he came from the same damn tree.
Yeah.
So you're saying knew 3 years ago that they were joining the SEC. He just got here. This is his third season. He got here after they made that decision, and Lincoln bolted because he was scared shitless of it. Not to mention, tried to set the entire program on fire on his way out. Okay. So everything that he's had to do, he's built up a defense that is absolutely ready for the SEC. And you can look, don't get it twisted. This is a program that will out-recruit your boys and outspend them too, and we'll be right back in the middle of things next season. Give me a break on this bullshit.
Yeah. He's going to be fine. And Jason, we talked a lot about the similarities again between BV and Marcus Freeman. Both kind of on the same time frame, very much the same scenarios. And, right now Marcus is having some success, but I still believe that they're both top-notch coaches, and I think BB will take the program where it needs to go.
Yeah.
He just, again, he's learned a lot of tough lessons, hard lessons. But just because you make a mistake down the path doesn't mean that you can't fix it and correct it. And I'm telling you, he lives Oklahoma football. He eats it. He breathes it. He will have them where they need to be. So,
and if he doesn't, they're going to let him go.
Yeah.
That is look. This is the reality of college football, ladies and gentlemen. No matter what, we can sit here and talk all about how we know everything, especially about somebody else's damn program that we don't pay that damn much attention to, but we can sit there and do this all day. The truth is, until they either pass or fail, you don't know. And yes, this is his first time as a head coach, so there are going to be some bumps in the road. I would love it if he was a little quicker to fix some things, right? I will say this, and a lot of people don't put as much stock in this as you need to put stock in. The way that he has built the culture of the program of, on relationships and, having these guys become men. They're, that they're playing the money game. You have to play the money game with the NIL, all that other stuff. I'm not saying anything like that, but there's more to it than that in this program. And I'll tell you another thing, in the best programs in the country, there's more to it than that.
Yeah.
The bottom line is it's still, and Sooner Cowboys, you are walking the thinnest of fucking lines. I promise you right now. If you come in here and start up with the shit that you've been saying on the rest of my stuff, you're getting kicked out of here and for good. I'm not going to have it. I'm not going to have it. Pulling that crap yesterday when I have a player's parent on there, I'm not having it. All right.
Well,
the Tide guys. Are y'all tired of Venables? Are you guys tired of Kalen DeBoer yet there, big boy?
Well, and again, guys, as fans, let me say this, and I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes here, guys, but you know what? If you haven't ever coached before, on a lot of the stupidity that's stated in here, what I want to say is, hey, shut the fuck up. Because if I went to your job and I don't know shit about your job and tell you how to do things, how would you like that? You wouldn't. And I'm telling you guys, if you haven't, and I'm not talking about coaching YMCA football or Pee Wee football. I'm talking about real life coaching. If you haven't done it, guys, it's a tough world. And it's getting even harder. It's gotten even harder with all the external factors that are now being thrown in to college football. So, guys, back off a little bit. Give BB an opportunity, and he'll get you there. But it's easy as a fan to criticize these guys, but if we just walked in their shoes for 24 hours, we'd be amazed at what they go through. So like I said, I'm a BV fan. I'm obviously a supporter of coaches, unless it's Brian Kelly. But I just give him some time. Okay, give him some time. And you know what, guys? All programs go through this.
Yeah.
It's
tough. It goes in cycles. We know that it's gone in cycles forever, and that includes in places like Alabama. You know that we remember. Yeah. I don't know. I'm old enough to remember when Nick Saban wasn't there. Okay, I'm old enough to remember that shit. So, yeah. But I'll tell you that it's fine. We can sit here and go back and forth. And thank you, Jenna. I appreciate that. We can go back and forth on a lot of this stuff, but and I'll say this, Christopher Shannon, you got it. You should have been on the show yesterday when we were talking about this, because you guys that are looking at just stars, it makes you a freaking casual. If you're just a star watcher, a complete casual. Because Isaiah Autry-Dent, who they just pulled up, and actually we just got a super chat on that. David Chamberlain, thank you for this. How do you like the sound of Isaiah Autry-Dent getting his? We just talked to his dad about this yesterday on the show. Do you know why he isn't as highly rated as far as coming out of there? He was the #1 left tackle in Mississippi and Alabama. Had offers from Alabama, Oregon, pretty much every school in the SEC. It came down to Oklahoma and Florida State for his services. Go look at his offers. The stars don't mean shit, but you know why he dropped back to a 3-star? Because once he committed, they stopped camping him. They stopped taking him to these camps that cost money and travel time and everything else to spend the whole weekend. They figured, what was the point? Well, the point was they dropped him 200 spots and made him a 3-star. Does that mean that he was a worse player? No. Jaden Jackson was ranked 450 whenever he committed to Oklahoma. Now, he shot up to the top 150, but do you think maybe he was a 5-star guy in view of the fact that he's one of the best defensive linemen in the country as a true freshman? The idea that we're just looking at these damn recruiting rankings and you think that you can judge all that shit by that is ridiculous. Completely and utterly ridiculous.
Well, and Jason, you know I talk about that all the time. Those stars, for the most part, I mean,
you realize that they get paid based on where they rank in that shit too. It is definitely not always just about the stars.
No. Well, and again, guys, those stars, we all are smart enough to know and see a 5-star player. I mean, we all figured that out pretty damn quickly. And we can also tell the difference between a 5-star and a 3-star player. But you know what? The truth of the matter is, who's putting the stars on those guys, Jason? Who's giving them 5-star status, 3-star status?
Yeah, it's whoever their little recruit team is there, you know. And here's the other thing: each one of those big guys, the On3 rivals, 247 and On3, were all started by the same guy.
Yeah,
Shannon Terry.
Yeah. So I don't put, you know,
and look, we did that video last year where we were talking with even the guys from High Top about the way that, look at the way DJ Lagway jumped up and down the damn rankings all last year. They had him dropped out of the top 200 at one point.
Yeah.
It happens. And there was a guy that they had, the main thing, there was a bunch of them that was going on there with Florida, but they had a running back. I want to say he was in the top 100. He commits to Florida, drops 150, 200 spots, right?
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, later on, he flips to Georgia and he's back in the top 50 then.
Yep.
So It matters. It's all about who, some of them, there's no way they see them all. Christopher Shannon, there's no way they see them all.
No.
Guaranteed there's no way they see them all. You can sit here and talk about the top 5 in the polls right now. Do you know what's going to happen with Ohio State? Yeah, they've always got a really high ranking class. What the hell do they win? And that's the other, okay. So you're going to tell me that Michigan's freaking recruiting rankings were really 15th in the country when they beat the shit out of everybody last year? Because that's where they've averaged. That's where they've averaged. Their blue chip ratio was way lower than everybody else. We can sit here and do this all fucking day, man. We can do this all fucking day, and I can shoot you down all fucking day.
Yeah, good stuff.
But I'm not going to, and I'm not going to sit here and argue with you either. Bottom line is, you guys can say what you want about Brent Venables. He's not going anywhere unless they lose this game this weekend. That's it. You fire him if he loses to Maine. Yeah, I understand it. You got to let him go. You know what I mean? That's not going to happen.
Hey, Jason. Notre Dame, week 2.
Yeah.
Who did we lose to?
Yeah. Shit happens.
Shit does happen.
Yeah, but you're also.
But I know right now y'all are in a different place. You're in a different. Yeah, exactly.
You've lost 3 in a row by double digits. And, you can say what you want. I don't think that if you look at it honestly, they're not that far away from any of those teams.
But he ain't losing the Maine, so let's just fucking move on.
Yeah, I don't give a shit what some of these guys are saying. Christopher Shannon's full of shit anyway. He comes in here doing this every time he talks. It is what it is. No way they lose to Maine. There's no way they lose to Maine. Not happening. But
nope.
If they did, you can bet your ass he wouldn't be here come Monday. He may not even make it to the locker room. But other than that, I can just tell you he's not going anywhere. They owe him $44 million. They owe him $44 million. They're not going to do that.
Well, not even that anymore is sacred. I mean, hell, they paid off Fisher.
Well, yeah, that's A&M. And I'll tell you, we're going to get into a little bit of A&M. In fact, let's go on. Let's move on to some of these other ones.
Well, let me respond to Zias here.
Okay.
Notre Dame isn't in the SEC, though, and not in OU's record or situation.
That's what he just said.
Are you fucking hard of hearing?
See, I don't think he's busting your balls, but yes, look, that's what he's saying. That's what Coach is saying, is that it's a different scenario, but it can happen sometimes. And but that's the point, is just, and that's why he said right after that it's a difference because Oklahoma is in this situation. Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yeah, we're moving on. On. Let's talk about another team that everybody was so sure they were right about, Coach. So sure they were right about.
I know who you're going to talk about.
Yeah, hey, remember that team that wasn't going to win but maybe 4 games?
Yeah, maybe.
Get kicked out of them. 4 games if they're lucky. Coach Prime's leaving with his kids at the end of the year. Colorado's going to continue to be shitty. And all they've done is jump out to a 6-2 record. The losses that they had, I mean, one of them was a great game. The other one was a rivalry game. And they've got 2 guys that are bona fide Heisman contenders, first-round draft picks. And they've kind of changed the narrative around there. What say you about Deion Sanders and those Colorado Buffaloes?
Kind of changed the narrative. I mean,
yeah, no shit.
Son of a bitch. What he's done in the time there is friggin' incredible. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say I like the way he's done it, but he don't really give a shit if what I care or what I think. And
do it their way.
And again, we've had this conversation before. Deion's been successful everywhere he's been, guys, in everything he's done. And so I know a lot of people thought he couldn't be successful at Colorado. Jason, you and I were two of the people that kept talking about he could be, he could
Yeah.
turn that program around. And here we are now. Was I starting, and I'll admit this, was I starting to lose a little of my steam on that thought because last year didn't really look too good.
Yeah.
But he's doing it, and
Mhm.
I'm excited for Colorado. I'm excited for Deion. I'm excited for his players. Can you imagine one of those two players winning the Heisman from Colorado? When was the last time that something like that happened?
Yeah. Well, they have one Heisman winner in their history, and it was Rashad Salam, right?
Yeah.
So look, I remember the days. I'm old enough to remember the days when Colorado was the real deal in the Big 12 and the Big 8, So I can remember that. But I also know that, look, I would tell you that, yes, we were high on them last year. I was less high on them this year. I haven't believed that you could play the portal game the exact same way that he has and be able to do it. What I'll tell you is the guys that he's gotten from the portal this year, plus the guys that he had already in kind of in tow from last year, the fact that you have a quarterback like his son, Shedeur Sanders, is huge, right? They definitely have a football history. There's no two ways around it. They definitely have a football history, but they were 1-11 when he got there. They were 1-11. So to go 4 wins the next year, which is a 400% increase, by the way, in your win total. And then now they're at 6 with an outside chance, I think, to get to the conference championship game, which hey, I say it's an outside chance. The Big 12 is as up for grabs as it gets. I think that there's an idea that you've got the two top teams, which I agree with. It's BYU and Iowa State right now. K-State being right there with them. That'll work itself out.
Keyword, Jason, right now.
Right now. Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it, right? But I think a lot of people, when you came into the year, first off, BYU was picked to finish last in the preseason media poll. Right? Last. They're undefeated still. And fringing on the top, they're definitely top 10 at this point. They're fringing on the top 5 even. Now, I think that's a little crazy. But look, I mean, we've talked about this before. We love Coach Sataki. Kalani Sitaki's that dude, man. Now, when it comes to what Deion does, and a lot of people, look, they're not above reproach or to be, given some shit because they've got big mouths. But I'll tell you something, they've been a lot quieter this year. They've been going about their business. It's less about the hype and more about what they put out on the field. And I think that that's a major reason why you're seeing this team go out there and get it done. They'll talk a little shit after the games, but they're not doing a bunch of talking before. And I think it's been fun to watch, man. It's been fun to watch. They're good, fun football to watch at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, wouldn't mind BYU or ISU playing spoiler in the playoffs. Look, I love Iowa State. I like Kansas State a lot too. And look, with Matt Wells and what they've done with their new, with their quarterback situation there, Matt went in there and turned him from a runner, just a runner, to they're doing it in a lot of ways. Now BYU got them at their house and beat them. I don't think it was quite as much of a blowout as what the score looked like. They had a couple of turnovers that turned into it, and it's kind of where it went. I would tell you that K-State's still riding the mix. But I would tell you that the more I've watched what Colorado did, they went into UCF, which is a very hard place for anybody to play.
It is. Yeah.
And beat the shit out of them. This isn't just they're good for the Big 12. These guys are good. Man. And I'll tell you, I wasn't expecting them to be this good. And I don't think that I said that I figured they might win 6. I said 6 to 8. I wasn't thinking 8. I'll just let you know that. But I mean, now I'm thinking 8 that's probably the bottom, right? That's probably the bottom with 5 games left.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, What a week. 4 games left, obviously, that they have, plus possible Big 12 championship. Look, man, he puts them in the playoff. He may not be at Colorado any longer because he'll be somewhere else, you know? Yeah, they beat the Ted Roof out of him. Out of UCF. Facts. You know, and it's funny, and I don't want to get back into Oklahoma stuff, but I've seen people on Twitter that are saying that's the reason why that we got to get rid of Coach V, because he hired Ted Roof. What does that mean? He also fired him. And Ted Roof wasn't in charge of shit last year. So anyway, no, I think that they're really good, man. I think that they're really good. He retooled the coaching staff. I think he kind of needed to do that. I'm a big fan of Sean Lewis as an offensive guy. I think he's one of the better guys in the country. But I do think that it wasn't a great fit for what they were doing there. And I think Coach Prime didn't know him well and just automatically made that hire without knowing him. So when it worked itself to where it didn't work out, it makes sense that it didn't. Now, do I think a ton of Pat Shurmur? I don't know. I think that he was a decent coordinator in the NFL, and that's what he is here. He's a coordinator. So if it works out for Shedeur, and Shedor's getting ready to go to the NFL, so it's probably a good thing that was a good move there. They did a really good job with their offensive line coach. We know him. He came from the Bill Bedenbaugh tree.
Yep.
So, look, you got to take a look at they've done things a little different. But I thought, and Coach, tell me what you think of this. When they went to UCF, he turned it into a Colorado recruiting weekend.
Oh, I mean, what?
Nobody does that shit.
No, hell no. Nobody does that. But Deion does, and I tell you what, he does some things completely out of the box. And we've said this before. He doesn't do everything the way the traditional coaches, head coaches have done things. And like I told you, I don't necessarily like everything he does, but he comes up with some shit that is incredible, and that was one of them right there.
Yeah. Huge move, right? He doesn't, and we've talked about he doesn't want to go on a bunch of recruiting trips. Okay. I don't know how well that works, but these kind of things like this is to where he doesn't really have to show up at their house. He can meet them somewhere at a place, at a ball game situation. You can see kind of what they do and how they do it.
Yeah.
Smart. Just freaking smart,
Agreed.
And you're probably going to end up having a bunch of bitchy ass people about it, coaches that are going to try to get rules changed and stuff like that but I got to tell you, man, he's doing things the way he does them. And we may not understand all of it, and I'm not saying he does everything right, because I don't think he does. I still think that I still think it's yet to be proven that you can win big with just the transfer portal, right? I don't think that you can. I think that you have to focus mostly on building from the ground up through your high school recruiting. But if you're able to pull some of the guys that they're able to pull and it works out, then great. I don't think it's worked out everywhere as well. Like I would say, like places, even you can talk about Ole Miss right now. They've already got 2 losses. Oklahoma had a chance to beat them last weekend, and they spent more money than pretty much anybody to go get these guys, right? Ohio State's already lost a game. They've only lost the one. Nebraska did everything but beat them this past weekend.
Exactly.
And I tell you, the people that are freaking out about that Nebraska's not going to be good or anything because I've heard some of that, they're going to be fine. Matt Rule is a hell of a coach.
Matt Rule does a great job.
They got the hell beat out of them by Indiana. You have bad days, but to bounce back and do everything but beat Ohio State in the shoe, that's big, dude.
And should have beat them.
They should have. In the end, though, you go toe-to-toe with – they don't hardly get tested in the shoe unless it's Michigan, Yeah. So that's a big game coming up this weekend. Obviously, you've got Penn State, Ohio State. We'll find out once again what can Franklin get done against his nemesis. Here's the thing. They have an offense this year, coach. They have an offense this year. Andy Koltanecki coming out of, and I'll tell you what, hold on just a second though. I get what you're saying. I'm not necessarily picking Penn State here. But they got an offense now. They could put points on the board. Andy Koltanecki was with Kansas last year. And look, Kansas has their quarterback, and they're still shitty without Andy there. Huge. Tells you, again, the difference that certain coaches can make. You know, if you don't got the right guy, and I think that a lot of it was Lance Leipold, but he lost his guy that was his right-hand man for all those years. Now, all of a sudden, they don't have him. And he doesn't have time to just be the offensive guy.
Nope.
Yeah. Got to be looking at Koltanecki in that game. That is obviously one of the guys that everybody at Oklahoma is hoping is being targeted for the offensive coordinator position for OU. He's my 1-1A guy. I've also said Will Stein from Oregon, like him a lot. He's a Texas guy. You know, he'd fit right in. So I think that, you know, any of these guys that we're talking about, you better go make a big one, though. If
you know who my pick is, right?
Who's that?
You don't remember me saying?
Who your pick is?
For the OC at OU.
Who?
Art Browse.
I do remember that now. Yeah, it's too much of
you think I'm bullshitting, though, but I'm serious. He would be. I know they won't do it. I know they
Oklahoma
won't do it,
is too much of a beacon of women's rights to allow such a thing.
I know. But oh yeah. But I'm telling you, he would move the damn football.
Yeah. Yeah, man. He definitely would. I think that somebody's going to have the balls to make that hire before Oklahoma does. I can tell you that.
I don't think it's going to happen ever again.
I don't know that listen, I think if people really paid attention to what ended up happening at Baylor, because it seems like it kind of went out of it, once it ran through its news cycle, right? He lost his job, all that other stuff. Once all that kind of stuff happens, then they kind of stop talking about it, right? They go back to, okay, they got a new coach. Al Golden comes in. Now, everything they're going through now becomes about the players and about the team and all that stuff. And then you get Matt Rule comes in and they start getting good again, and everybody just kind of forgets about it. And they just think that Art Briles is just a piece of shit. Well, I'm not saying that he's not. I'm telling you that he did not have anything to do with that stuff. And you can go, and it's out there. They paid Art Briles a shit ton of money. Let him go. Yeah. You think that they would have paid him a damn dollar had they been able to show that he had anything to do with any of that? Do you think that Kendall
became their scapegoat
coaching? Do you think that Kendall and Jeff would be coaching still? No.
He just he became the scapegoat.
Sure. Yeah, Parker set off. Yeah, we know about that. The point is that, and I said it that night. I was like, let's stop acting like Oklahoma is a fucking beacon for women's rights. Let's not be crazy here. And for that matter, any state. No, I'm not going to get into politics and stuff like that, but don't tell me that we're really worried about women's rights in some areas of the world right now. Okay. Okay, I'm going to move on past that shit.
Okay.
In any event, go and look it up. You want to know the truth about what happened there? It's there for anybody and everybody to see. I tried to explain that to everybody when they threw that shit fit last year. I'm telling you, it's not exactly that. If Ohio State loses this weekend, do you see a scenario where they might not make the Big Ten championship, miss the playoffs? Not miss the playoffs unless they lost like another game. They're getting in. They may not make the Big Ten championship.
Right.
I'm trying to look. I mean, really?
If they don't make the Big Ten championship, though, that could put them in some danger.
Okay, so what we need to do is look at this schedule, because Indiana is still undefeated. You've got Illinois that's got, what, 1 or 2 losses, I think? One,
I think.
Mm-hmm. Ohio State schedule. Theoretically, there's a couple of games that Ohio State could lose. Let's look at it.
One could be this weekend.
Well, they definitely could lose this weekend. The Penn State game. Okay. So yeah, this weekend they've got Penn State, then Purdue, they'll win that one. Northwestern, they'll win that one. They've got Indiana. It's in Ohio. That is in 3 weeks, followed by Michigan. Now, see, Indiana might have been a chance to be a loss there if they're pretty good, but they're still overlookable, that kind of stuff. They're not overlookable now. You know, they're undefeated still. I don't think they've been undefeated this late in the season, probably in 50 years, I would imagine. It's just wild, right? Pretty wild. But Penn State is definitely losable. Now look, and it is I don't know why it's not a whiteout game because they're not playing it at night. This is Fox's thing, and this is Fox's stupid thing. I know they want to own Big Noon and all that stuff, but my goodness, you're missing out on a chance to. You're missing out on a big opportunity here by not playing that game at night, getting a lot more viewers. That's wild to me. But yeah, so theoretically, then you've got the Michigan game the last week. It's also at the Shoe. So all these games, except for the Penn State game this weekend being at State College, you've got 3 that they possibly could lose. Now they've already lost 1. I think they'd have to lose. I think they'd have to lose all 3 to miss the playoff.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
That's not happening. That's not happening.
No.
But because they're not going to get beat by Michigan. Michigan's shit.
Oh, Michigan's horrible.
Shit. You know, they don't have nothing left. Nothing left in the tank. So, yeah, I don't see it. I really don't see it. It should definitely be a primetime game. They can lose 2 and still get in, Chris. They can lose 2 and still get in. They'll get in at 3. Now it'll be one of the latter picks, but they'll get in. Because again, guys, let's not just make it about. Let's not just say it's because this team is better than this team and all that shit. That doesn't have anything to do with it. It doesn't have anything to do with it. It's about money and eyeballs. Believe that. And like it or not, Ohio State is a brand, big time brand, right? They'll be in. They'll be in. They'll find a way to screw somebody else out of that, no doubt about it. All right. Penn State better get them, or else you write them off completely. Yeah, I don't know. I think they're still pretty good. I don't know that they're good enough to beat Ohio State. I don't know. I don't know if they are. I like them. I like the quarterback. I think Drew Aller's a good quarterback. I think that they've done better with Coltonecki, and they do play defense. So this is a team that should and could. The question is how good do we really think Ohio State is? Because if they are as good as everybody's really acting like they are, then probably not. Right.
Well, if they're that good, why did they play Nebraska the way they did?
I don't think Nebraska's as bad as people think they are a lot of times, though. They've got a really good defense. They got a freshman quarterback is why they're kind of uneven, is what I would think. They got a good quarterback, though. And I think that, if anything, maybe that's what – I know they've been bitching in Columbus about that defense.
Yep.
Because it's loaded and it hasn't been great. I mean, Dylan Gabriel carved them up. Dylan Gabriel carved them up.
Who?
Shut up. Yeah, we're going to talk about coaches Notre Dame Irish towards the end, though, but we'll definitely get into that. Not to worry. All right. Anything else to say about Colorado before we move on to another surprise team? Coach, nothing?
No.
Good? All right, let's move on. How about old Aggie?
Wow.
Go figure this, huh? Who the fuck would have thought this?
Leading the SEC.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll tell you what.
I guarantee you could have put money. I would have bet you everything I own they wouldn't have been leading the SEC at this
At this point of the year? 8 weeks in, 9 weeks in?
Yeah.
Shit, no. Hell no. But and the other part of it is everybody was talking about Connor Wegman so much. The reason they won that football game is because Marcel Reed is that dude. That dude.
He's a real deal. Oh my God. He was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely incredible. And, thank God they didn't play them when we played them first game of the season. If they'd have played him, we'd have been in deep shit. Neilio.
It was kind of the same deal that we saw. Hey, Neilio, welcome in. Appreciate that, sir. Thank you for the super chat. Didn't get a chat from you, but appreciate you. Thanks for that. Yeah, listen, Connor Wegman was having a game like he was having against Notre Dame, though. 33% completions. They went with Reed. Surprising they didn't go to him that first week, but he's had some games that he's been great. They've had some games that they haven't been as good. So I'll tell you, Wegman goes out, Reed comes in. What a freaking – it was a game. He had what? How many rushing touchdowns? I want to say
3, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was 3. Yeah, I'm looking at it here. I'm thinking – I'm thinking of him in my head because I watched the game. I know he averaged more than – he's over 5.5 yards per carry. He also has some big time throws so he's not one-dimensional quarterback by any stretch of the imagination. I think that when you start thinking of what Colin Klein is, coming from that system that they ran there at Kansas State, that he was so good in as a player, but he's kind of moved. There's a reason I think that people have been talking about him as one of those up and coming guys that's going to really do a great job as a head coach, but certainly as an offensive mind, right? But I do think that, Hawkins is probably a better passer than Reed. Yes. So I see what you're saying. That's why I wanted us to put a feeler out for Colin Klein because of he's using Reed how we could have used Michael Hawkins. Yeah, okay. I can see that. Is the cult legit? Stephen G says they are legit. They are legit.
They are.
Cult or not, they are legit. This is a team that not just we're talking about Marcel Reed right now, but the reason that they're as good as they are is because that defense is damn good. Damn good. Yeah. You hold down a LSU attack that really, they've been scoring. They're able to score. You hold them to 23. You win by 15. It's a big win. It's a big win.
Well, guys, that defensive front they have is one of the best in the country.
Yep. Thank you, Jimbo.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jimbo. But if you don't get Mike Elko, does it stay around? Probably not. No. And he went out there and got a really good secondary. He brought in who is the guy that he brought in from he's one of their edge guys that's just unbelievable too. But they've brought in some really good players. I think it's going to be a big deal. Elko really hasn't. I don't think he's announced who's going to start in this game against South Carolina. I would guess that they're going to probably go back to Reed. I don't know how you don't when you win a game like that. And whenever you look at what South Carolina is, having seen what they are the last couple of weeks, they are going to bring heat. And Wegman doesn't throw well under pressure. Most quarterbacks don't, but this guy can get out of pressure and be able to and move around and be able to get some passes off, plus be able to run. So I think he's definitely the guy that they end up going with, or I would think anyway.
I would think so.
Yeah. What do we say about at the first of the year though? And remember, a lot of these picks are still well in hand of happening. First off, 4-4 USC. I wonder who said that they were going to lose 4 games at least. I wonder who said that. Damn.
I think he's talking right now.
I wonder who that was. And then, I'm still telling you guys that at minimum, Texas loses 3, probably 4, but this game at the end of the year, Texas fan has to be shaking in his freaking boots. Even with just one loss, they're going to get their asses kicked in College Station that night. What a Thanksgiving weekend.
I'll enjoy it.
It's going to be fun. Nussmeier, let's see, what's Chrissy said? Nussmeier tries to do too much. LSU needed to run the ball to open the passing game. He's good when the pocket gives him all day to throw. Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, and they have one of the better offensive lines in the country at LSU. So, but here's the thing that you have to realize: those guys, it is what it is. You know, what's up there, T Boomer, Chrissy? Welcome into the show.
All right.
Adjust the hat. Welcome in Zia's. We've already talked to you a little bit. Zofix, what's up, my guy? Let's see. Let me say, make sure. Jimmy Satterfield, good to see you, my friend.
Yeah.
Miguel. What's up, guys? Okay, let's see. Who else? David Chamberlain, thanks for coming in, guys. Folks, if you have not already, hit that like button. I got to ask you why. Don't make me ask you why. Come on now. It's free. Do not be a freeloader. Make sure that you hit that like button. It's a free way to help out the program. You can always, we'd love it if you would become members of the Hall of Fame Mafia. That is our channel membership that gets you not only into our Discord, which we have a good time in there. There's a lot of stuff going on. And actually, Stephen G and Ryman Lemon have made that thing amazing. A lot of cool stuff that we get to do in there. But you also get a vote in the Hall of Fame top 25, which I will reveal here in just a minute. And some other, I'm actually getting ready to do, I think we're going to work on a couple of things with K. Chris. Coach and I need to talk about a couple of things that I've been wanting to do with him, to where we would do just members only content, members only videos, things like that. We're working on some of that kind of different stuff. But right now we have 21 likes. We've had over 300 people on the stream.
Come on, guys.
We're running short of a 10% run. So come on.
Help us out.
Come on now. All right. So let's see. Rob 077. There he is. Oh, there's another one I was right about. Mizzou. Yeah.
It's Mizzou.
They got the shit kicked out of them too.
They did.
I'm trying not to gonna be ugly though. I like these. I like Rob and our boy Richard.
But there's some other teams that are sitting in there that haven't played anybody.
Facts. Our boy Neilio. What's up, my man?
Neilio the man.
So this is the night we finally get to see Hall of Fame's coach's Hall of Fame dancing babes. Nope, not tonight.
Not tonight.
Why did you guys have to beat my midshipmen? He says they beat.
Well, I'm not sure we did beat them. I think they beat the hell out of themselves with 6 turnovers.
Turn the ball over that many times, you're fucked. Right?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Can't have it. There's a reason. There's a reason why every coach says the same thing. Got to win the turnover battle.
You have to.
You must win the turnover battle.
There's very few times that you can lose the turnover battle and win the game. Very few times that happens.
Facts. Chrissy, Cam Ward proved when pressured, he reverts back to Washington State days of fumble or an interception. He hasn't done it a ton, but Miami definitely has one of the better offensive lines in college football as well. That's what you would expect, though, out of Mario Cristobal. That's what he was an offensive lineman. He's done a very good job everywhere he's been of building up on the offensive line. What they've struggled with is quarterback. They've ruined a bunch. I would just say that it's you got to look in. And I like Miami. I think I like Cam Ward a lot. But that's why I like Miami. I don't trust Mario Cristobal for shit. I agree. They can lose at any time. I'll tell you another big surprise team, and I wish JJ was on, but he's doing his own show tonight. The Pitt Panthers, brother, undefeated this deep in the season for the first time since 1983. Pitt, they got the transfer quarterback out of Alabama, and they are rolling. Pat Narduzzi's doing the job again.
Yep.
And they only won like 2 or 3 games last year.
Yeah, no, they've done a hell of a job.
What is this? they haven't been a team that got Cam Ward running for his life again yet. I don't know that they're going to really run into that though, right? I don't know that they're going to really run into that, Chris, because they just, like what Jason says as he goes through Instagram thoughts, got to win the turnover. What the fuck? I know what an Instagram thought is, but I don't go through them. Indiana, a surprise team. Absolutely. Look, but I'll tell you, and they've got a good coach in there. They got a good situation in there. And again, I would tell you this, I'm stressing this, that they haven't played a great schedule yet. Indiana, I'm not positive that they're great yet. They're really good. It's good for them. Let's see how they handle Ohio State. Let's see what kind of game they put up in that one. Because it is what it is. Boise State, I don't know that I would look at them as being a surprise so much. I mean, they're in the Mountain West. They should be about what they are. But Christian Janty is that dude. Holy shit.
Yeah. Seems to be.
Shit, man. He's on track to be around 2,500 yards or so.
Yeah.
Now, that's neither here nor there. I would ask you, do you think that they give him the Heisman if he does that, or are you going to end up with it being a quarterback as usual? Because I think Cam Ward is definitely in line for it. I think that you have to look at Shedeur for it, but I think Shedeur and Travis Hunter probably cancel each other out a little bit. Travis being hurt some has probably hurt his chances, but I don't think there's a better player in college football than Travis Hunter. Just so
there's not.
I don't think there's not. So, but I think that they probably hurt each other in the battle for that a little bit as well. And then Dylan Gabriel is definitely still right there in it. I don't know that he's winning it, but I think he's right there in it. So, what are your thoughts? Do you think Janty could win it? If he gets, is there a number that you think there's no way they don't give it to him?
I just don't think. Number one, let's be honest. Usually, it's a big time school.
Mm-hmm.
Boise State's not a big time school.
Yeah, but they're not an unknown school either.
No, but they're still. I just, if there wasn't a Travis Hunter and there wasn't a Cam Ward and there wasn't, I would say yeah, but those names are big time names.
Yeah,
and
they go win their conference championship or something like that.
I don't see him winning it.
I can see that. Yeah, Army's looking very good with Army Black Knights. I like them, man. I'm always an Academy team guy. I like the Air Force Academy more than I like the other two because I'm an Air Force guy. And just by the way, before anybody says any shit about Air Force, they've got more Commander-in-Chief trophies than both of the other two. So they just think it done.
We just got through with Navy, and we're headed into the buzzsaw of the Black Knights here soon.
They're good, man. They're good.
Now, that's what we heard about Navy.
Mm-hmm. If there is a year that somebody other than a quarterback wins it, it's now. I think that Janty could win it. Right, I like him, and look, I think if you get to 20 plus 2,200 yards rushing, and he's already at well over 20 touchdowns, yeah, I think you do. I think you have to. First off, and here's the other reason, Coach. They gave Oregon all they could handle at Austin Stadium too.
I know.
I still think it's a long shot myself. I think you have to be that good every week, and I don't know. Look, there's going to be somebody that's going to say, you know what, you're going to beat us with somebody but that son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And the truth is, you can scheme any running back out.
Yep, you can.
You just put 9 helmets on the ball.
Yep.
So, Dylan Gabriel's the favorite right now. Travis is second. I don't know that Travis is second. I know that may be where you may have saw that somewhere. Where did you see that? I don't know. I've seen some different stuff that says that Travis is up there though, and he should be. For God's sakes, he should be. He's that dude. But and I think that people are sleeping on Shedeur though a lot. I think people are sleeping on Shedeur a lot. I like Shedeur. I think he's a much better player than people give him credit for. It is what it is. But I said that at the start of the year too. I said, look, for all this shit, I mean, the guy got sacked 60 damn times damn near last year and still had 28 touchdowns to what, like 3 turnovers? Yeah. So it wasn't a surprise for me that he's doing well. It surprised me how well Colorado is, how well they've played this year, because I just wasn't sure. I still thought, we admitted that earlier. It is what it is. But I think that, look, they've got a very, very, very good receiving core. That line has held up pretty well. They're not getting the shit kicked out of him every week like they were last year. And look, man, if you can watch Travis Hunter play and tell me there's somebody better, I got to see the guy. Because
there's not.
Both sides of the ball.
I mean, hands down, he's the best player in college football.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why when what was it? Did he switch classes? I know he flipped from Florida State to Jackson State whenever that year, but I don't remember if he switched classes or not. But he was number one in both classes, if that's the case. I know.
But
number one. It didn't screw with him being number one when he went to Jackson State. I know that.
No,
because he's that good.
I still hate seeing him playing in both ways. I mean, because I tell you, I think that playing him both ways could honestly cost him the Heisman.
Well, it's also what's going to win him the Heisman. You know what I mean? It's the fact that he's gone out there, and how many interceptions does he have now? It's quite a few. But it's got
the injury thing.
The injury thing could hurt him though too. But I think that I don't know that they're gonna. I wouldn't be honest with you if I said I knew exactly what the split was at this point.
Right.
But it feels like they may be backing off of it a little bit.
And then you need to.
Chrissy, I know you're a Buffs fan. Talk to us about that. Let's see. Well, he's the first ever player to win the Big 12 Offensive and Defensive Player of the Week honors in the same season. He's done both. Wow. 153 receiving yards, 9 catches, 2 touchdowns. Oh, wow, man. Yeah. 61. He played all 61 snaps on that side. On defense as well, registering 4 breakups and establishing himself as one of the Big 12's premier cornerbacks. See, that's the thing. I don't know about it. I don't know that you're going to have a ton of interceptions because they don't always throw his way. But getting 4 pass breakups, I mean, that's huge too, you know? He's been killing it, man. What do we got here? Been trying to tell some dunderheads on another pod when Oklahoma had over 8 offensive lineman changes. There's not going to be any continuity to jail. Are we back on that to fire Big Bill? Guys are crazy.
Well, and I got to tell you guys, we've gone through the same thing in our O-line. Same damn thing. I mean, it has been. We've had more injured players than. I mean, and I'm talking about out for the year, not, playing popcorn O-line. It's been a complete replacement of players. I mean, we got freshman players playing, so I feel for you guys because it's a struggle. I don't give a shit how good a coach you are. It's tough.
Mm-hmm. Hey, adjust the hat. Colorado ain't doing anything. How many games did you pick them to win at the start of the year, buddy? Do tell. The BV press conference. I liked it. I was happy to see. Look, He says the right things, man. And the thing is that he believes in this football team. I would tell you that, and I don't want to get back into this. We'll talk more about this in the morning, but I would tell you this is exactly what I'm saying in the column. Guys, little things that need to happen with him. And that's where I'm at. I need to see him be more decisive. That's what I want from him.
No.
Colorado ain't doing anything. What's long-winded? What did you do? Who did you pick? Vegas betting. Okay. Gabriel favorite, Travis second, Cam Ward third. I can see that. Okay. We'll see. Another pod is wanting BB fired. Let me guess. Would that be the Twins? They're saying that. The Sooner Surge Twins. Big shocker. Big shocker. Making sure that they get all the haters every day. I don't want BB fired either. It's always long-winded. So here's another one of the haters, huh? Yeah. Is that you were talking about the conference? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I mean, you can want it all you want to. I guess that's the thing. Short of them losing to Maine this weekend, he's not going anywhere this year. That's just a fact. Short of losing to Maine, he's not going anywhere.
Our man Bishop Frank, man.
Bishop Frank. What's my dude doing? What's up, my man? Good to see
Send me a little gumbo, Bishop.
Gumbo's fire. Fire.
I love it.
Yeah, it's funny. You haven't said anything back about Coach Prime and them Colorado Buffaloes, man. You must not have picked them to win any, huh? So you weren't right so far. I bet we'll move the goalposts now if they only win 8 games. Oh, you only won 8 games. You know, moving the goalposts is what they do a lot with that shit.
They're bowl eligible, right?
Moved. The Twins will yell at you. Oh, they yell all the time. Yeah, they're entertaining. They're entertaining to be sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Facts. You're talking about playing O-line players. Yeah, no doubt. I like that part. I think that, well, and at this point, that may make sense why. It's not just because that they're trying to flip things around. Don't let the coach speak get in the way of the realities here. They definitely want to preserve their red shirt if they can. Now, obviously, if you get, but in there, even listen, Marcus Dent told us yesterday they're not going to put all of those dudes in on the line at the same fucking time. They're just not. So it's just, you got to expect that.
Be careful, Bishop Frank. I'm going to fall in love with you, man.
I know where he lives. I know where to find him. I know where to find him.
And Jason will be driving over there for some of that gumbo.
No championship. What are we talking about? Where did you pick? Don't scoot out of the question I asked you and answer something else. What did you pick them to do? It does matter. Come on now. Don't you do that shit. I'll give you timeout just for that. I will too.
So, Jason.
Yes, sir.
Going back to A&M.
Okay, let's go back to A&M. What do you got?
Let's go back to A&M. So how do you think they'll finish out the year? You got their schedule?
Yeah, I do. Let me pull it up. Let's see. Share it real quick here, Coach. Okay. Can you guys see that pretty good?
This whole
Can
man.
you see that, Coach?
Yeah,
Right, I can blow it up. I can blow it up. Better, same, worse.
that's good. That's better.
Okay. All right. Starting here then. Let's see. 8 So they are through. I mean, they should win the rest of them.
I know. I would.
You've got South Carolina a week off. Auburn, the last game again. If they lose one, it would be Texas, I guess. So they should be 11-1. That means you're in the SEC championship game.
Yep.
Which means if you go and if you're 11-1, it doesn't make a shit. I think even if they go 12 or if they go 10-2, they're in the playoff. Texas A&M is going to make a playoff run. Unfucking believable, but they're going to make a playoff run.
I'm not surprised. I'm really not.
Well, I mean, wow.
The talent was there.
The talent is definitely there. They have a good coach. You know, they got a good coaching staff.
Yeah.
Norman, you better get over here. Get over here. I know what you're doing. Trying to get into stuff over there. Turd. All right. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, they didn't have the toughest schedule in the world, but the LSU win is big. You know, the fact that they get Texas at home is why I give them more the edge than anything in that one, although their defense is that good too. And I like with Marcel Reed, I think you can beat anybody.
I agree.
It's just because of the fact that that's a true legitimate dual threat. He can beat you with his feet, he can beat you with his arm. I mean, that's huge. So I think that when it comes down to that kind of stuff, that's where you have to look at it as, okay, well, you know, that's where
I'm telling you, I think they could run the table.
You think they run the table?
I think they do.
Yeah, I think they should. I mean, South Carolina, they're in Columbia and they've had some issues. No, they haven't. I think they've lost once against South Carolina. It's in Columbia. I guess that, and you could have a letdown. I could see that. They shouldn't. They should win that game. They should definitely win that game. They're going to beat New Mexico State. They should beat Auburn, although it is at Auburn. They should beat Auburn. And then the only way I guess you could see that is the possibility of a trap game because of the fact that it's coming before the Texas game on November 30th. But I just think that, more than likely they're good to go. They should win out and at the very least maybe lose one of those. But Norman, quit.
And I tell you what, from my perspective, I hope they win out.
Yeah.
Because that only helps.
Well, I mean, looking at Texas, I mean, they've still got. I mean, look, that everything but lose that damn game in Nashville this past weekend.
Yeah.
You can bitch about the officials if you want to. Florida, it's in Austin. I would say that they shouldn't lose that game, but DJ Lagway's played very well. They've played a lot different since everybody was so sure they were going to fire Billy. I'm not positive that they do. At this point. They could lose that game. The Arkansas game we know is losable for them. The Kentucky game we know is losable for them because of that defense. I think that they're good for at least 2 more losses and possibly 3 out of the next 4. We've seen it. We've seen them. And we've seen Sark teams do this. We've seen them do it. Let's see. We're still looking at, we can look at some of these other ones. Let's see. Obviously, Oklahoma finishing out with Maine this weekend, Missouri next weekend. That's the one I want them to win for sure. Lots of shit talking coming out of Columbia, Mo. Would love to see them win that one. So then you got the bye week going into the final 2 weeks of the season. Alabama at home, LSU on the road. Is there a possibility of a upset? Man, you'd have to be a lot better on offense in one of those games. I can see you. I can see you beating Missouri. I don't consider that necessarily an upset. I think you should win it. But Alabama and LSU, I mean, Alabama struggles at times. They haven't played football all year long. I still think they're good enough to beat Oklahoma at this point. And I haven't seen enough out of us offensively to say that you can even put up 21, 28. I think you got to score probably a minimum 28 to beat them. And I just don't – I have to see that before I can believe you do it. So, and then LSU on the road, come on, man. Come on. Let's just be real. Not this. It's not the year for it. It's just not the year for it. That's my opinion. Anyway. But we need to beat them. We need to beat Missouri.
Yeah.
That needs to happen. Chris E. was gifted a membership by Bishop Frank.
All right.
My man, Bishop Frank. Appreciate you, my man. I don't know why it doesn't pop up on here. In fact, you gave away one. Let's see. Good stuff. And, you know, obviously he, that popped up. Maybe it did. But faith, work, one Oklahoma, one family, one OU5. Thank you, Bishop Frank. We appreciate you so much for renewing your membership and gifting one as well. Our membership is getting bigger. You know, we've got, I want to say it's like 45 members in there at this point. So that's cool. We much appreciate that. I appreciate you guys that are becoming, and again, low is $2.99 a month to become a member. That will get you anything extra, all the stuff we got. When we get to the next milestone is obviously 4,500. We gave away 2 T-shirts this last time for the 4,000. T-Boomer and who was the other guy I gave it to? I know his real name, but it's not his screen name, and I want to make sure I don't say that. I don't want to screw that up. But anyways, was happy to give those away last week to do that, and you know it's awesome stuff. The legend's been saying they're going to beat LSU all year, so he's going to stay there, standing 10 toes down.
And I hope y'all do.
It'd be cool if we did. I'm going to say you got to show me. You got to show me. Got to show me. Join the Discord. We need more memes. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Again, I wanted to just thank Ryman Lemon and Stephen G for everything they've done in the Discord, man. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. A lot of fun that we have in there. A lot of shit talking goes on in there. A lot of fun. A lot of fun. A lot of fun. And then again, if you I don't know if you were in here for it whenever we first talked about it, but make sure that you're keeping Stephen G, his mother, in your prayers for her being diagnosed with cancer. So we appreciate all the prayers for Stephen G. And love him. All right. Hey, you'll just win out and get to 8-4. That'd be cool. I think at this point, it's a lot to ask for. But listen, the defense is going to put them in these games. The defense is going to put them in the games. You got to put some offense up.
If they can just muster a little bit off.
Yeah. Yeah. You've got to figure it out. Can we get a F your brand? Oh, don't have to ask for that. I'll even give you the long version. Oh, wait.
The brand has finally returned. Fuck your brand.
Always. Fuck. And I'll just say this. Fuck Texas. Okay.
That's what I'm saying right now.
It is. I love it. Wanted a black hat. A black hat? Bishop Frank, you can get, all you have to do is say you want it. I'll send it to you. You know, you've done a lot to help us out too, man. My guy. I had to expand the space in there to accommodate Stephen G's talking. Yeah. All right. Get it bigger, get it bigger, get it bigger. Appreciate you guys a lot, man, for sure. All right. What else we got? What else we got? Yeah, we've talked Heisman. We've talked. What about Alabama, though? I mean, they're kind of. Do you consider this a good year if they win 9? I don't think a lot of people do. I think it's a decent year if they win 8. No? Okay. Okay.
No.
Just because of their past with Coach Saban?
Yep.
What do you think happens at 9? Or at let's say they lose 4. They're not going to fire him.
They're going to fire him, but he's damn sure going to be on the hot seat quickly.
It's going to be a fucking uncomfortable position to be in for sure.
There's going to be a fucking bonfire set up burning outside of his office. Now, they may not put him in it, but he's going to feel the heat.
Hey, Coach, did you ever have anybody put for sale signs in your yard in Texas?
Not Texas, I have here.
You did? I didn't mean to. I wasn't asking you for that. I didn't know that. It doesn't surprise me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me that much. Not that Hobbs is never worth a shit at football, but
yeah.
They beat Clovis again.
Clovis is so horrible.
They're terrible.
They're all their athletic programs have gone to hell.
What happened? What happened?
The new administration. I researched it out and talked to some of my buddies over there, and the administration has killed it.
Why are you slobbering on me? What's the matter with you? Ew. Nasty. Get off. Get nasty ass dog. All right, Nelio. Thank you, my man. Good to see you. Good to see you, my friend. Hey.
Nelio.
You didn't say nothing about K-State. Are they going to win this thing or what? Scott Christopher. Good evening. What's up, my guy? 9 wins take them out of the playoff. DeBoer already tired of Milroe and want his own players. Saban left him undisciplined players.
Oh, shit.
Hey.
Are you kidding me?
No, he's not wrong.
Undisciplined players?
Yep. You know what? Nobody is really, you know why nobody shows that shit? They just don't show it, Coach. I saw a bunch of stuff. I've been seeing it a bunch. I'll find it for you and we'll show it to you. They've had fights on the sideline, things that have happened on the actual field, like what we saw in the Vanderbilt game. You know, we talked about that already. A lot of that kind of shit has been going on. A lot of it. The thing about Jalen Milroe, that's not on Milroe. That's on DeBoer for not realizing that he's not Michael Penix.
So you're telling me that undisciplined players were left from Saban?
They were. They've been having a lot of these kind of blow-ups and crazy shit that we saw against Vanderbilt. Those are all Saban guys. He didn't bring hardly anybody with him.
But how come we didn't see those things?
Because they didn't show it on ESPN because it's King Nick. Come on, you know that shouldn't surprise you. That they would never hurt his.
No, but it surprises me a little bit. I thought he was more of a disciplinarian.
I think he is a disciplinarian as long as it's out front in front of everybody. But think about it. How many times did they want him to get rid of a kid that he kept him in the program? And you wondered why.
Yeah.
And it was always, what do you want me to do? We have Musim Muhammad, and he did all that, and everybody wanted me to get rid of him. And look at the great example. He always throws that one out there. Not everybody's Musim Muhammad, by the way.
Right.
You know what I mean? But there have been, and if you think about it, there's been a lot of arrests at Alabama the last 4 or 5 years.
There has been. I will agree with that.
So I'm just saying, sometimes you're going to get a few criminals, man, if you're going to get that many really good players.
Well, then let's see Caitlin get his players and see what he does, because I'm still not sold.
Look, that doesn't mean that they're not fucking really good, first of all. Okay?
Right.
And if we want to talk undisciplined, it's not like he did a whole lot to discipline the guy that pulled that bullshit in the Vanderbilt game. In fact, they didn't do anything.
Exactly. And that's kind of what I was trying to say.
So, I mean, not to get it twisted. I mean, here's the deal. I think that you got to have a few questionable characters in your locker room.
But they showed that shit, didn't they? I mean, that was all over
Well, yeah. Well, it was right in the middle of God and everybody. They didn't
Couldn't
really have a
hardly
chance
not
to
do
hide
it.
it. Yeah, no chance to hide that one. But, you know, and it was going on in the biggest upset in probably 50 years in college football.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
UGA's got a shit ton of arrests too. No, they got a bunch this year, Zias. They got a bunch this year. Look, I'm telling you now, Georgia's not too far off the end of their little run. There's no way that you can sustain this many and continue to roll.
I agree.
You can't.
I agree.
And I'm not telling you I don't think Kirby's great. I think he's great. I think they recruit fantastically. I think that they got a problem.
Staff.
Yeah, but I think that they got a problem with this, and it may be as simple as it's the cops around that area got a hard on for them. Whatever it is, you got to quit buying them fucking Hellcats.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
Stop buying them Hellcats.
Agreed.
And I mean, this is another one of those. I mean, cars have always been a big thing for players, right? But
sure.
But this era of kids, this generation of kids really seems to be into the drag racing stuff. And it's dangerous, man. It's fucking dangerous. And the truth is whatever he's done there as far as suspending them and doing this, and I don't think he's done necessarily enough of that, right?
Right.
But
just kind of enough to appease.
I mean, I read something from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and I know they kind of have a hard on for that program as well. But I read something from there where they literally had just had one of their speakers in there, and one of the deals that they do for those players, that they had just had one, just talked to this guy about it, and he left out of there and how to race and how to crash. Like 10 minutes later. You know, BV needs to give 11 young. You can't do it. You can't do it, bro. Most D1 players should not be in college. That's a blanket statement, man. Don't make that statement. I mean, he would have lost the locker room if he suspended that player. College has changed. Now you have to recruit players every year to stay. You have to do that, but you have to. He would have lost the locker room because that was a team leader. I don't think he necessarily. Oh, you're talking about DeBoer here. So yeah. Well, I'm not giving him just a free pass on this, bud. Not doing it.
No.
Because if you're really going to make that your football team, you need to handle it. And who gives a shit if you lose that locker room? It's your first year team. You have to establish your culture now, today.
To me, that told all the other players, if you do that shit, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it told me. And I'm old school. You know that, Jason. I would have been in the middle of his ass.
Oh, he wouldn't have played the next week. There's no fucking way.
And I tell you what, I might have even gotten fired because when he wouldn't come off the field, I'd have probably come out there and got him and brought him off the field. They didn't
even so much as like really say that he was in the wrong. They said that he said he was in the wrong.
Right.
I mean, it was really light, I thought. And I'm not hating. I'm
not either.
It's tough to know what to do in a certain situation. And the kid's a competitor. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Right?
No, you got that passion and you're a competitor, you getting your ass beat, and it's tough and you're in the moment, but you don't tell your coaches you're not coming off the field.
Yeah, that's shit. And then especially right after you get a damn penalty for kicking the football like that and doing all that stupid shit. I mean, he was losing his fucking mind out there.
Yeah.
Losing his fucking mind. Wild. It surprised me all that went down. I was like, whoa.
And I tell you what, I think that'll eventually, and I'm not saying it's going to kill the culture, but it's going to cost cost DeBoer some issues.
Mm-hmm.
It's that scenario is not completely gone.
Right. Yeah. Nick saw what was coming. Malachi Moore, he says, cough. Been hearing about stuff that Milroe is saying that if they bench him, that some of the other players will sit out too. Was this surprise you? I mean, I've been wondering about this a lot, and this is just me. But with everybody that we talk so much about using the N-word and stuff, but what do you think that lank stuff is? You know, they were talking about it on ESPN, so all of a sudden it's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like they're making T-shirts about it. They've got medallions and all this stuff. And I mean, look, I'm not telling you that black kids can say whatever the hell they want. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that. But when you start pushing that kind of stuff, and then you freak out on somebody else for saying it, it's just. And they did all of that. That was all Milroe. That was all Milroe that started with that stuff.
Yeah.
And it seems like a slippery slope. I'm not saying I have a problem with one thing or the other. I don't. Look,
exactly.
I do not. But I think it's a slippery slope. That's all.
For everybody.
Yeah. Love Ryan Williams, but heck, his sis goes up there to paint his freaking nails before the games. Yeah. Well, I mean,
Caleb Williams is his cousin.
Caleb Williams style. Yeah. Ryan Williams, it could be. Could be. I don't know. I don't think so. I think we'd know that. It feels like we would know that. That was Caleb Williams' way, though. I mean, you know, and he went to so far as fuck Utah on his nails and all that, remember?
Fuck Notre Dame.
Yeah, he did do that too.
But in turn, we fucked him.
Beat that ass. Hey, what do you think about the chances of you guys could like be in Lincoln's coffin?
We could be. But you know, and I tell you what, we
He's the one trying to kill that fucking series, coach.
Oh, I know. But hopefully we give him a reason to kill it. Although I don't want him to kill it, but I hope we beat the shit out of him. But you know, it's a rivalry game. You know what those are like, and so it's going to be interesting when we roll into there if we're still unbeaten or not unbeaten, but
just with the one loss.
With the one loss, it's going to be interesting to see what that game turns out to look like. Because they could be. I mean, and they're going to be trying everything. If we go in there with one loss, they're going to do everything to knock us off and kick us out of the playoff, because they could certainly do that. So it'll be an interesting game.
Eric Basham, take that OCF bullshit elsewhere. Not doing it. Take that OCF shit elsewhere. Just gets no play on the channel.
But it's gonna be interesting for us, and I would like to put the nail in the coffin for USC and their sweet little head coach.
Hey, he's I'll tell you what, that whole deal is they're ready. There's a lot of fans that are ready to boot his ass out. Now, I don't know that you fire him this year because they owe him a lot more money than they owe.
Right.
They owe him more money than they owe BV.
Yeah.
By about $40 million, I think. So,
but I'm telling you guys, that shit it's not a big deal anymore.
It's not as big of a deal for sure at USC.
Yeah.
They got all kinds of loot.
Yeah, and they'll pay his
ass
getting
off. $100 million when you're getting $100 million a year for being in your conference.
Yeah, they'll set him free.
I think they will too.
I just hope that we are
like the direction, I think. And the problem is that he's stopped being who he is, because right now their defense is plenty good enough for them to win.
Oh, they are. They really are, and that's what
Not the right
concerns
guy.
me a little bit.
But he's dropped back. USCJ had a video out where he was talking about they went from. He's talking about the last 5 years. Of course, part of it being here, part of it being there in at SC. But so he went from 50 to 55% rushes. You know, the mix. 55% running the ball, dropped down to like 52, then 47, then 44. And it's at 39% now.
Is it really? I didn't realize that.
And that's with the quarterback that's freaking struggling with interceptions.
Well, and I tell you what, that excites me knowing that stat, Jason, because I tell you what, our defense coordinator, when people are throwing the ball that much, we're blitzing son of a guns. We will bring the house.
Should.
And you saw what happened to Caleb when we brought
got
the
his
house.
ass handed to him for it, right?
Yeah.
Got his ass handed to him for it.
I'm excited. I didn't realize that stat. Yeah. So I just hope we can go into that game where we're sitting with one loss, although it was an ugly damn loss. But I feel good about it.
That was early in the year, and you guys have changed what that football team was. You couldn't throw the ball from here to there at that point.
No. And I tell you what, I think
Riley Leonard getting used to the new offense and what Denbrock was doing because it wasn't the same thing.
And I think it's a combination of two things. What I've seen, Jason, is I think it was Riley getting used to Denbrock and his offense. But I also think that Denbrock has changed a little bit of his philosophy and built it around Riley's strengths. You know, because we're finally starting to see some RPO passing game, which Riley has been thriving in the RPO passing game. And obviously, you know, the dude's scored 11 touchdowns running the football. And he's truly incredible. I mean, he's rushed, I think, over 80 times this season for almost 600 yards and 11 touchdowns. That's pretty damn impressive. And now he's getting, you know, the other thing, he's distributing the ball right now. Riley's distributing the ball to the last two games, 9 different receivers in both the last two games. And he's, you know, and he's not killing it passing wise as far as the numbers and stats, but you know, he's getting close to 200 yards a game throwing the ball.
But then he's adding close to, you know, 75 yards a game rushing too, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I mean, obviously they did a lot more than that this past year with Daniels. But they were also loaded up everywhere else too. So I mean, you know, you could throw the ball up to anybody, and I still think that your receivers have been better this year.
They're getting better.
I think they're better. They're still not where you probably want them to be if you're Notre Dame when you get to those big games.
Yeah. We need a couple of big time players.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have any big time players right now, but we have some. We like you said, we upgraded from a year ago, and I think that's why we're spreading the ball out, and we don't just have an alpha dog out there that we just can count on throwing the ball to. Which again, the only one that even is coming close to that right now is what's the kid that transferred there from Clemson? Dadgummit.
Shit, it's right on the tip of my tongue too, Coach. Damn it.
But anyway, he's probably the only one that's really kind of stepped out as the number one receiver. But and again, Jason, our running backs we're loaded at running back. I mean, we've got 4 to 5 running backs in there, but you know, we're strong in there. Now, our O-line, out of the 5 starters we started the season with, Jason, I think we have one starter left out of that 5. We're playing 2. The left side of the line, the guard and the tackler are both freshmen. So the thing that I'm excited about, Jason, is we have improved week to week to week, and we're, like you said earlier, that
what we've talked about a lot this year, man.
Yeah, and that bad loss came early in the season, because if it had come late in the season, it's even more on people's minds.
Concerning, right? Now it's a problem.
That's right.
It's one thing, but you got to think of it in terms of, okay, we just came off a huge win in College Station against a good football team, which we know is a good football team because they haven't lost since.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad you're saying that. I'm glad you're saying that, because I didn't want to make that statement. Although I think I just don't want to make excuses.
To say that Aggie's that fucking good, because I have a hard time saying it. I just puked in my mouth a little bit. But I'm saying, look, man, let's be real about this. Mike Elko's that guy. Now, what do they do over the next few weeks with this on the line? Would it really surprise you if they shit all over themselves? No. Because it's just Aggie. That's just Aggie. That's what they do. I think they got the right guy. I think they got the right guy at the right time to really capitalize on the talent that they still had there. Because we know for sure that Jimbo was a good guy.
Oh, God, no.
Good football team, though, man. Good football team.
Yeah.
I still remember that game. I mean, he was screaming at the OC to run the fucking football.
Yeah.
In that game. Run the fucking football. That was his exact words. You know? So,
absolutely.
I think the fact that he's not afraid of losing, because you're going to go with who you can win with.
Right.
And they don't give a shit about what Jimbo gave you. Don't care.
No.
He's not here.
Well, Jason, tell me this, and I want your complete honesty, and the rest of you here too. But Notre Dame jumped all the way to number 8.
I like Notre Dame. I think in our poll, and let me bring up our poll, but go ahead.
Okay, bring it up. I want people's thoughts, because I hear so many people saying they don't deserve to be in the top 10 because of the loss they had to.
Well, first let's pull up the AP top 25 real quick then.
Okay.
Because
I tell you what, our defense is stellar, and we knew that was going to happen. Yeah. We had talked about how good OU and Notre Dame's defenses were going to be this season.
Notre Dame's had one of the top defenses in the country for about 4 years now.
Yeah. We lost our starting All-American corner.
I did.
And we got a freshman.
A
freshman that replaced him. And he's playing lights out.
Wow.
Matter of fact, if you had changed numbers on those guys, Jason, you wouldn't have known it was. You would have still thought it was our All-American corner.
Yeah, they've been killing it. I've been watching them. I mean, this last game, I was watching it for a while until it just got completely out of hand. Listen, I mean, I think you can argue the fact that they don't have a great schedule.
Right. I agree.
And I don't think
I'm gonna make a statement about that, though. I'm gonna make it, and it's not a great schedule. I agree with you, but name another team that's won more top 25 games this year than Notre Dame. There's not one.
Okay.
They've beaten 3 teams in the top 25.
In the current top 25?
I don't know in the current, but it's been.
Well, who are the teams? We're talking about?
Let's look here.
Be one of them.
A&M.
Right.
Who else?
Are we? If it's Louisville, they're not still in.
They're gone.
Because Texas says that same thing, and they don't have a single win in the current top 25.
And it's probably not in the current.
Who was the other? Who
But
would
when
be the
we
other
played them, well,
Okay.
Navy's going to be the
Well,
other
Navy
one.
was another one, right? They're out.
Yeah.
They were just barely in though, too. That's still only their first loss.
Yeah.
Again, though, I mean, when you're not in a Power Five, so okay, we'll just go through the rankings though.
Yeah, let's go through it.
AP rankings, you got Oregon at number 1, which I think that's obvious. I don't know that I believe that they're the best team in the country. In fact, I don't believe that they're the best team in the country.
Right.
But I do think that they deserve to be about where they are. Georgia, I think they're the best team in the country. Myself, Penn State, I guess because of them being undefeated. I still need to see.
They're not. And you know, I'm not sure we're going to get our answer to that this week unless Ohio State just beats the holy living shit out of them. Other than that, I think we're going to see
them stay around where they are.
Yeah.
I don't know that they have to win for them to be one of the best teams in the country. I think that they need to stay close to Ohio State.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. For them to drop out of the top 10, they're going to have to get the shit beat out of them.
Right. I also think that we have more of I think you said this before, or I know you said something along the lines of it, is I think that there's more parity in this year's college football than ever.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think that there's a drop-off after about the top 8 or 9, but I think it gets to that point. Usually it's around 3 or 4. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think that you legitimately have 8, 9, maybe 10 teams that could win the whole thing.
Yeah. I agree.
I don't consider BYU one of those teams. Obviously, the top 5 rounds out with Ohio State, Miami, Texas. I know that Miami, I say that they're one of the better teams in the country. I got to see more from them, too. I don't believe
I'm the same way.
I don't think that they're one of the teams that could win it all. I think they have one of the best players in the country.
I agree with that.
Cam Ward could take you on a magical run, but I got to see it. Texas, they're not winning.
That's another one.
That's another one. I like Tennessee. I like their defense. I like their coaching. I like the way that they play.
Yeah.
I don't think that they always play that way every week, though. So we'll see.
Consistency.
I think that you still kind of have to prove something to me there. As far as where they are as a program, I think they're in better shape now than they've been in
a while.
The end of the 90s. So I would say that, I like them better than a lot of people do. Notre Dame, I think that Notre Dame is a real contender. I wonder how much, because my concern with Notre Dame is that you're not getting tested like you probably need to get tested.
Exactly. I agree.
So this weekend you got Florida State. Florida State isn't good now.
No, this weekend we're open. It's next weekend.
It's next weekend that you play Florida State.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
All right, but
we better win this weekend.
Florida State has one fucking win.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? And I don't think that they're ever going to be. We talked about it before the season that they were going to end up blaming DJU. That's what they're doing. There's a shit ton of things wrong there. But, it is what it is. They're trash.
We call that early.
I don't think that helps you.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, who do you got left aside from the SC game, which I think SC, talent-wise, they're going to give you a hard time.
All we got is Army and SC.
Yeah. So for the rest of the way, now, if you go 11-1, probably get the 5 or 6 seed, which gets you a home playoff game.
Yeah, and I tell you what, I don't know, Jason, because if you take your conference,
the defense travels though, Coach. That's what I would say. The defense travels. I'm not as worried about your offense as you are.
Right.
I think your offense has gotten a lot better over the last 2 months.
Yeah, I would agree. Well, they're trending up. They're definitely trending up. And like we've been talking about those old linemen and stuff, Jason. The more games they get together under their belt, the better they're going to be. So, and that's starting to show. But I don't know. I look at I said, we have Army left on the schedule. But, and again, this was what was interesting to me. Even after beating Navy, that was they were ranked 23rd or somewhere in that neighborhood. And I know we beat the shit out of them. Right. But I didn't see us jumping.
But you did what you're supposed to do.
Right. But I didn't see us jumping 4 spots. I really didn't, which was interesting to me. Honestly, I thought we might have moved up 1 spot. But so that was interesting to me. And so honestly, I say we got to win big each week on the way out here.
Right.
See you, legend.
See you, legend. Have a good one.
So anyway, but I don't know. We'll see. And the back of and I think in the back of everybody's mind, Jason, is what happened in week 2. If we got beat by them, it could happen anytime with anybody we play. So
right. That's what I think. Talent-wise, you can play with anybody. That's what I'm saying. I still think that you're one of those programs that you can win it. You can beat everybody, right? As far as the Hall of Fame top 25 poll is, I don't have the our little graphic done yet. I've been having a bit of a day. So I'll pull this one up though. In that way, and then I'll drop the other one in the morning. All right. Let's go. Bam. Okay, that's definitely not big enough for everybody to see, is it?
There you go.
There we go. All right. So number 1, we got Oregon. It's same. Honestly, it's pretty much the same order. I think we've got, except for Notre Dame's out of the top 10 in ours, which is surprising. If Coach was voting in it, maybe he would. Maybe they wouldn't be.
No,
maybe that's the coach's problem.
I hate polls.
I know you do. I know you do. This one's easy. You can do it on your phone. No big deal. Pain in the ass.
No.
Oregon, Georgia, Penn State, Miami, Ohio State, Texas, Tennessee, BYU, A&M. See, and I don't know how you can vote A&M above Notre Dame when Notre Dame went in their house and beat them. But, that's just me. Clemson, then Notre Dame, Iowa State, Indiana, Alabama. We've got it 14. Boise State 15. I think I have Pittsburgh around 13. I think is where I put Pitt. LSU, Ole Miss, Army, SMU. The Buffs at number 22. It's their first week to make it in. Vanderbilt stays in. Washington State, and then Ohio Bobcats. I can't believe you guys picked the Ohio damn Bobcats. Whoever did that shit. Yeah.
Smoking anyway, crack.
That's wild, right? I don't know. Anyway, thank you guys that did vote in the poll. We ended up with, I think we had 13 voters this week. So anyway, Mom should have grabbed somebody here. 2 seconds said, but you will not do this. She did Caleb a disservice. And all that crying shit got on my nerves with Caleb, but I would say is what it is. Hey, J-Day.
The brand has finally returned. Fuck your brand.
Let's see. Did I get your email? I don't know. Did you just send one? Because I was in there earlier, but I don't. Let me see. Kimberly K email. I'll be looking for that. Come on now. Not that I'm seeing. Oh, there it is. I got it. I do. Thank you. I got it. Each one teach one. All right. Yeah, listen, I'll just say that I like Notre Dame to have a shot, man. I think they have more of a shot than than Texas' sorry asses does there, J-Day. I'll just tell you that. What are y'all going to do about J-Day, while you're here, what are you guys going to do about Aggie? The hell y'all going to do about Aggie? How bad is that going to be when y'all lose to them? It's going to be pretty damn funny to me.
Gonna get sarked.
Yeah, sorry.
I tell you what, Jason. I was telling you earlier, but I really like Jeremiah Love, our little running back. He's
good.
The real deal. Yeah.
Amen.
He is the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's good, man. He's good. And that's one thing I'll say about Notre Dame is that every year they got a guy that can run, man.
yeah.
They haven't stopped. Yeah. That's one thing you know they're gonna do, right?
Yeah, they're always gonna, and hell, we got Jadarian Price is another back behind Jeremiah Love. Hell, he's scored several times this year. He's another badass.
Stat guy says Aggie's getting crushed this weekend. He wouldn't be stat guy.
Stat guy.
Delusional. I love Stat, man. He's my boy. Welcome into the show, my man. Notre Dame gets in the playoffs, but we'll be on the road in the first round. Now, if they go 11-1, bro, they want them to have a home game. Come on, Stat guy. You gotta know better.
Come on, Stat. You're the stat guy. You ought to know the figures here.
It's all about
money,
the freaking
money,
eyeballs. It's all about the eyeballs
and the cashola that comes from it.
That's right. They're gonna give them a home game. Snow in the Golden Dome and shit like that. They're gonna fucking love that.
Yeah, we love that snow.
Mm-hmm. It'd be something else. Somebody would be bitching about having to go play in that shit.
Shoddy.
What concerns, if any, Coach, do you have about Notre Dame?
Well, hell, there's, again, my concerns are consistency offensively.
Mm-hmm.
Although we've continued to get better, we're not as boring offensively, Shoddy, as we used to be. So we're making some improvements there. And I tell you, the biggest concern I have is we got to stay away from injuries. We've got about 9 starters out, like on defensive end. We're starting our 3rd team defensive end. We've got some injury issues that if we get any more people hurt, it can really, really hurt us. And, we talk about having that depth. And obviously we've got that depth because when you have that many starters out, dadgum, but we're hanging in there. We're trying. And Shoddy, I want you to know, I called Coach Freeman and I talked to him and I told him, you got to quit being so damn boring offensively. Because Shoddy's pissed off at you for being boring.
He did some shit. Hey, Mom, welcome into the show. She said she loves Notre Dame. She said to say, hey, Coach.
Hey.
And Norman's here to say hello to everybody. All right, back up, dude. He was breathing in there. All right, good call. You guys have improved. Shout out to the panel and everyone in the comments. Thinking injuries coming at the wrong time in the season.
Yeah.
Injuries. This is a bad thing about it. I mean, look, this is why they talk about competitive depth so much, right? That you got to have it, because at this point of the year is when it's gonna hurt you the worst. And now you've extended the year. The winner of the playoff is going to have won at what? It's at minimum 15, minimum 16 games, I think.
Yeah, 16.
Norman, no more.
Yeah, you're right. Well, and again, that's what I think I think just a few years ago we couldn't have withstood all those injuries because I don't think we had the competitive depth to do that. And I think that's another area that Marcus has really improved is bringing in that, good recruits and competitive depth.
This is where we talk about, and we start talking about all this, you can talk about 3 stars, 4-star, 5-star. You can do that all you want. The lifeblood of your football team is those guys that are 3 stars or worse, that are, you just went and found them. It doesn't matter what the fucking recruiting services said they are. They're guys that can step in and play when you have an injury and you don't get a big drop off. Yeah. And I think him coming from a program, him playing at a place like that.
Yep.
Playing at a place like Ohio State and, coaching with Jim Tressel and all that kind of stuff. I mean, he understood that. He understands the game and how you have to play it.
Absolutely.
I think we've talked about his learning curve a lot too. There really is a lot of parallels, when it comes to OU. So,
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But, all right, guys. Well, we've been going for a little over 2 hours tonight. I appreciate everybody coming in here. Shawty, thanks for dropping in. Appreciate you, my man.
Hit the like before you go.
Yeah, make sure you all hit the like. That's if you get the bye. Yeah, 15 games, 12-3. Yes, and that's if you get a bye. Yeah, so you'd go to 16 if you don't get a bye week. And that's coach's team can't get a bye. The highest they can be ranked would be 5th, which that's still going to be. That's a home game. I don't see you. If you're going to get in there, I feel
we're already in our second bye of the season, right? This weekend.
No, but I'm saying for the playoff, you'd get a bye.
For the playoff, yes, for the playoff.
There's no bye for the playoff though.
And I'm glad. Hell, I don't want a damn bye in the playoff. Mm-hmm. Let's go play.
Yeah.
Because I honestly think, guys, and I was listening to some podcast today talking about bye weeks. Not all teams are good coming out of bye weeks.
The SEC bye teams have a losing record coming out of their bye.
Yeah. So I'd rather get in and play. Mm-hmm. And Marcus at this point, knock on wood, is undefeated coming out of bye weeks.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we got Florida State next week. I guess that streak should continue. If not, you got worse problems.
Yeah. So. If we get beat by Florida State, we just need to cancel the rest of the season and go to women's basketball.
Now, looky there. Did I just hear some outlandish shit coming out of you about your football team? I'll be damned.
I was kidding you.
I know you're not kidding.
I am kidding.
Yeah, they can only get the 5th seed because of no conference to go to conference title. That's right.
Exactly.
But
and I'm telling you,
that 5th seed.
It was built for Notre Dame.
For Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Facts.
Absolutely.
Facts. So,
absolutely.
Could be a really good game. Could be a cupcake. Could be a cupcake game, and in you're going to be playing that one at home in Notre Dame Stadium.
Maybe we'll get Boise at home.
Oof. I don't know that you want that though, do you? Maybe you do.
Hey, I got to say it. I don't give a shit.
Well, I was waiting to damn end the show before you said it. Son of a bitch. About fucking time. I've been throwing them at you all day. Now we can end the show, folks. Thanks a lot for coming in. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out if you have not already done it. Share it with your friends. We'd appreciate it. You should jump in, check out our Hall of Fame merch. We got the horns down hats like this. We have the shirt that I was wearing yesterday. It always meant more in Oklahoma. A lot of people like that shirt. I got a lot of comments on it. You can get all that stuff, hofmedia.us/pod-merch. That's hofmedia.us/pod-merch. Same for licensed gear for your favorite team, whoever you root for, hofmedia.us/fanatics. hofmedia.us/fanatics. All Fanatics gear, better prices than you can get on your own. Jump on there. They've been a lot of stuff is going really cheap right now. So you can get your gear from Fanatics by jumping in there on our partner link. The free way to help the show. Hit the fucking like button. Come on, help us out. We appreciate it.
Like. Push it.
We'll see you all on the next one.